let's get a conversation going, a conversation that we've started in this month of June. It's a healthy Thursday again, and we're discussing another matter that has to do with men. Today we're talking sexual disorders in men, and I've got just the right person for this conversation. My guest is Mr. Emmanuel Dziwornu. He's a clinical psychologist with the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we're talking sexual disorders in men, but first of all, how common is this kind of situation, and do men actually show up, visit the hospitals and report?
Well, the issue with sexual disorders is like this. It's sort of a shy topic, in quotes, that a lot of people will not want to reveal. Even people will not want to tell their wives that I'm suffering from this or that. So generally, it's very rare to see people coming forward with these complaints. It's been estimated that women are more likely to reveal their sexual problems than men. But the fact is that, unfortunately, a lot of people, both men and women, experience several sexual disorders or sexual problems. So, yes, we have some people coming forward to seek or look for help for their problems, but majority will want to hide it, try to find their own means of helping, or just want to live with it. So, yes, a lot of people have sexual problems,
but they don't
but
talk about it.
It's hiding in there, yeah.
So why don't you take us through the main disorders, the very common ones?
Okay. Sexual problems can come at any phase of the sexual activity. You know, we have 4 phases: the desire phase, the arousal phase, orgasm phase, and then the resolution phase, where at the initial stage you should have that desire for sex in the first place. So fantasies, all those things should be there. Even at that point, some people have problems. They may not have the desire at all. Then when we move to the arousal, they may not be aroused with the things that can lead them into the sexual act. Then orgasm, they may not reach orgasm at all, or it will delay. Then the resolution will face some problems. So sexual disorders, we can generally try to put it this way: sexual dysfunctions and then the main disorders.
Okay.
The dysfunctions could be erectile arousal problems, which I tried to mention already, where the person may not have the excitement, the desire for it and all that, right? Then in men, we also have the erectile dysfunctions, may not be able to erect at all. So they call it low battery or something. So that is there in men, right? Then we have the orgasm also as a problem.
Okay.
So, but these ones are more or less dysfunctions, not at a disorder level or state that we can say.
It means that you can get better.
Yes, you can get better. With certain strategies, you can get better.
Okay.
But when it comes to the disorders, we can globally put them under paraphilias. And we have at least 6 of them, at least 6 of them. And the interesting thing is that it appears more in men. Yes, women also experience some of these things, but it comes more in men in terms of the statistics or the frequency or, the prevalence. It's more in men. So one of them is fetishism, where the person who gets sexual gratification from other objects other than a
the
partner.
act of sex.
Exactly. So it could be things like ladies' shoes, ladies' underwears, scarf, materials that is not actually the person. So these things,
but then the man gets satisfaction just by looking
from that. Can even reach orgasm with that. So you don't need a woman in that case. You get it?
But that's a disorder.
It's a disorder.
Okay.
Well, one thing we should also know with disorders is that it should cause some distress to the person. So some married couples may even decide to use some of these strategies. That may not be a problem. But if the person on his own goes through these and it affects the person's life significantly, then it becomes a disorder.
But on the other hand, if the person is not affected in any way but is enjoying it, then this could be normal.
That's the thing. When we talk about disorders, it should cause certain problems. There are at least some 4 things we can look out for. Distress to the person, danger to the person or other people, dysfunction, then discomfort.
Okay.
So when these things are beginning, it shouldn't be all of them. At least one of these things showing up. Then we say that disorder is setting in.
Okay.
Right. So if you do this, you enjoy it, it doesn't cause any problem to you. But at the end of the day, it creates problem between you and your wife. Because you get gratification from other things and you leave your wife out. That will create marital distress. So it shouldn't be just you enjoy it and then that is it. But other people around you, how do they take it?
Okay. So the gratification from objects, that's one. And then what's the other one?
Yeah. You have other ones such as voyeurism, where the person who, somehow you can term it peeping, where the person gets satisfied by watching somebody who is undressed or watching people
maybe taking a shower
who are having sex without their knowledge, without their notice. So watching this alone gives them the gratification.
But that's like somebody who is sick.
Disorders are sicknesses, right? If it's a disorder, then it's a sickness.
Okay, but this one, isn't this one more of a psychological problem?
In fact, all of them have psychological components.
Okay, I guess that's why you are dealing with it.
You see, we usually have this problem. Once the issue is not a physical health problem, we don't consider it to be a significant issue to deal with. So, like you rightly said, then if the person is going that way, then the person is sick. Yes, what you're saying is that these are sicknesses. In code, mental sicknesses. In fact, we use the word disorders, which is the right word to use, but people tend to ignore the fact that it is a problem that we are looking at. So, somebody will stand hiding somewhere, watch you undress, or you are naked, or you are into a sexual act with your partner, and they are busily enjoying themselves from that. They don't have to go look for their own partner. They enjoy from what you are doing. So I think this also gives us some thoughts that when we are in our rooms, we should be careful.
Yeah, because somebody could be watching.
Exactly. And even goes to the extent of in hotels, people planting cameras where you could not know, or two-way mirrors. So we should be careful about some of these things. Most people, when they are at the apex of their sexual desire, you don't even care whether the door is open or whether the window is open, or you are giving people the chance. And if this person is caught, they may say that I didn't ask you to open the door. It was open. I just saw it. I didn't go to open the door. So we need to take care of ourselves in this regard. Okay.
So those are two disorders you've given us.
That's two, yeah. Another one, frotteurism, where the person will rub himself, usually against the female or somebody else. So a male rubbing himself against a female, or fondling with a female without their consent or even without their knowing. So it usually happens in crowded public places.
Maybe a dancing floor or something.
Exactly, like or in the bars, kufor bars. Those days we have the long one where they pack a lot of people.
The Tata.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, those ones, you know. Then you have this double decker.
Yeah.
The down and the top. Then you are all holding the middle. Then it's
so unknowingly somebody could just be rubbing themselves
and before you realize the person
and getting sexual satisfaction.
That is it.
Wow.
There was this case, I think, in Wa. Somebody was caught around the court. They've all gone to observe the court proceeding, but it was crowded, so they were standing outside. Before they realized, the woman realized somebody was busily behind her doing something. She wasn't sure. When she checked, the man was heavily wet.
Wow.
Because he was just enjoying himself around.
Wow.
Yes. So this is a problem.
That's abnormal. Yeah, that's abnormal.
It's abnormal, really abnormal. Yeah, then we have transvestic fetishism. People who want to cross-dress to get some gratification.
Cross-dress?
Yes. So like a man, you want to dress in the female underwears or female dresses somehow to get some gratification from that. Yeah. So that is and the issue with this is that this particular one, some couples, again, who also want to, they can plan or decide to do some of these things. If it is an agreement, you both decide to do something, a way of trying to
maybe arouse yourselves or something of the sort.
No problem. But if it is such that you alone getting yourself involved all the time and it's causing problem for you, then it's a challenge.
Okay.
So you can find women in the house wearing their husbands whatever, no problem. A man wanting to put on something that is quite related to the woman, no problem. But what is the intention behind it? Right.
Yeah.
All
right.
Okay.
Okay. So are there any more disorders?
Yes,
or these are the key ones that you want to give us?
I'll give you 4.
Okay.
There are 2 more.
Okay.
Which is sadism and masochism.
Okay.
Sadism is usually when the person gains gratification by afflicting pain onto the partner. So during the sexual activity, they will either slap you, beat you, scratch you, afflict pain. When you are screaming, when you are showing that you are in pain,
that's when they get that satisfaction.
Exactly. And the masochism is the opposite. When you afflict the pain on them, when they receive the pain, then they get the satisfaction.
That's when they say, when you hear a couple fight at nights, don't always interfere, because sometimes they are doing it on
exactly.
They're doing it because they want to, not because anybody is...
But, well, it could also be that they're actually having fight.
Yes.
but
somebody tried to interrupt that process and
you get some
got
blows.
shut out because nobody called you. Exactly. We're okay, we're fine.
Yeah. And somebody was saying that there's a place in Accra here. When you go to that community, usually sex is like fight. The women want to enjoy sex after their husbands have fought with them. There's some aggression towards them. If you don't do that, you are not a man enough. Wow. So that explains what you're saying. So there are some people who want to afflict the pain to get the satisfaction, or afflict the pain on them, then they get the satisfaction. So basically about 6 of these things are there.
Okay.
The interesting thing is that it's very common among men compared to women. It doesn't mean women don't experience that.
Is there any specific cause? Is there something that puts people...
Causes of sexual disorders, at least you can put them in under 3 broad areas.
All right.
Physical problems or physiological or biological problems. You can have social problems. You can have the psychological problems.
Okay.
Let me start from the physical.
Okay.
When you have certain illnesses, it can cause problems for you. For instance, diabetes, hypertension, then the use of certain drugs. They can cause some challenges along the sexual phases. So, usually people who are hypertensive, they have challenges with sexual arousal and performances. And then, if you are put on certain medications like hypertensive drugs, it affects your sexual drive as well. So some of those things, using or drinking alcohol use can also affect your sexual performance.
Okay.
And some of these things. There's social issues. That links more with culture. How you are brought up. In a society where sex is tabooed, you can't mention sex. It's a problem. When you do, you are a bad person. Then you grew up with certain fantasies just hidden in you, and you are boiling to bring them up. You find the slightest means and you are going for it. Or you dare not talk about a woman. So the person will hide in a room, put on certain things, look at certain things, or go to the shop, just hide in the female section and watching things and getting satisfied, or in a crowd and enjoying himself and all those things. So cultural underpinnings are very significant here. I think somehow now it's getting better, but still we frown the mention of sex so much.
Yeah.
So much that even some teachers, when they are teaching biology and it gets to reproductive health or reproduction,
sexual reproduction.
Sexual reproduction. Yeah. They try to invent words for the actual words.
Yeah.
So we should take note of those things too.
Okay.
Then psychological, our self-esteem, self-image. I am not good enough to get close to this person.
Yeah.
or anxiety problems, depression. You know, it is a fact that when you approach sex with a lot of anxiety, before even you get into the act, you may finish the last stage and the person is not even close to starting it. So performance anxiety, how am I going to satisfy the person? How am I going to do it to be the champion, and all those things, they come in. So generally the impression you have of yourself and things that go through your mind, then some other mental health issues, all underscore how we progress through the stages and how we develop these challenges.
Wow. This is a lot, and I have not, and it's intentional, I haven't gone to the messages because usually people ask so many questions and they introduce other things into the conversation. I know that you're in Tamale, but are you in Accra next week?
Next week, no, I'm not in Accra.
Okay.
I should be in Tamale next week.
Okay. Yes. But we can find a day too, because I want to reserve the healing bits.
Okay.
For, you know, a fresh conversation.
No problem.
Because that's where we have to spend a lot more time. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe just one pointer to end today's conversation, and then we can make time and talk about the healing process.
Well, I think I should put it this way, that we should all be ready to accept problems we have, including sexual problems. They are there. We can't run away from them. Let's look for help. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Dziwornu, for this conversation. Really, really, really appreciate it. And we're going to have time and have a pre-recorded conversation on the healing. And then I'll also bounce some of the comments that are coming through with the questions to you. We're going to schedule that, but be sure it will come your way next week, Thursday, right here on the show. He's a clinical psychologist with a Tamale Teaching Hospital.